countries.
Oh, also, hold on. Random question for the lifter flare guys. I think I might have figured something out. Just a random, super random question, okay? Lifter flares, Amumu, Hillshire, all you guys, okay? For how I irritated my arm a little bit, maybe. But I could also just be making this up completely, okay? When you guys are doing the tricep pushdowns, so I always thought that like bigger range of motion is probably better. So I would do them up here and then go down here rather than like stopping like here and going down. Do you think any tricep movement where you're like bringing your arm all the way up here is like a bad tricep movement, do you think? Or do you think it doesn't matter? Now I'm wondering. Because I noticed for my, I don't know if I still have irritation. I haven't benched for like a week, okay? I'm just waiting for it to feel better. Do you think it's better? Do you think it's okay to do any tricep movement where your arms come all the way up here? Or should you stop at like this 90-degree angle unless you're like benching or something? You only need the bottom half of the movement. Are you getting golfers? No, shut up. If you don't know, you don't know. I don't give a fuck. Thank you for the Rolo tweet. Top range of motion is the most important part. If you feel rotation, lower the weight so your tendons can acclimate. Have you done overhead tricep extensions? I don't do almost anything with my shoulders up here. I'll do like overhead press, but I don't do any exercise, anything up here. Fuck all that shit. All of those exercises look AIDS as fuck. So like skull crushers or whatever the fuck this lift is. Nothing. I don't do anything like that. I will never do anything like that. Fuck you guys. Wait, where did any gym flares answer this? Where are my gym flares right now? Oh, Huff Daddy says 90, 90, 90. Dungeon says full range of motion. Huff Daddy says gym flare. It's not AIDS. You're just a fucking bitch boy. Anyone who says you need to go beyond 90 degrees on tricep pushdowns is patently wrong. Can I get an Athlete X video on this? Range of motion tricep pushdowns. Stop doing your tricep pushdowns like this.
All right, quick tip. When you're doing tricep pushdown...
Damn, this guy brings his elbow so far back. Do you do that? What is this? That's like isn't this like a shoulder lift?
Don't stay upright or too close to the machine, as that limits your range of motion.
Okay,
instead, take a few steps back and tilt your body forward. This will give you more range of motion and a much better contraction. All right, quick tip.
Okay, but this
when
guy,
you're doing tricep pushdown...
It goes like a little bit more than 90 degrees,
Don't
right?
stay upright or too close to the machine, as that limits your range of motion. Instead, take a few steps back and tilt your body forward. This will give you more range of motion and a much better contraction.
How to properly do I don't do anything with a rope either. Okay, that's for BDSM. Stop training. I like how every gym video is like, stop doing this. You Google video like how to deadlift, and the first 10 videos are like, everything you're doing is wrong. Don't do this. One-way trip to Snap City. If you're doing your deadlifts like this, stop. Don't ever make this crucial mistake deadlifting. Top 4 ways lifters kill themselves deadlift. It's like always like...
All right, quick tip. When you're doing rope pushdowns, don't grab onto the top of the rope, because this causes you to use more of your chest and shoulders since you're leaning over the rope to push the weight straight down. So instead, grab onto the bottom of the rope, then retract your scapula by rolling your shoulders back, and think of...
Okay, I don't even know. Oh, I think I've seen this video. This guy ties both ropes in, and he does 2 ropes for the full... Okay, never mind. All right. Okay, gym flares say 90 degrees. Okay. Think about the weight on the cord. How could going above 90 at all put tension on the tricep? The weight simply doesn't work that way. Well, it depends on where you're standing. If you stand close and you bring it up here, to push it down, I imagine you have to use this. You're using your tricep, no? Aren't you? I mean, unless you're like leaning over it and you're like pushing with your shoulder or whatever. I don't know. I don't care. I'm doing it 90 degrees. That's all I needed, baby. Dr. Mike on tricep pushdowns. Oh, shit.
All right, folks, mistake number one, super common, is a partial range of motion for tricep pushdowns.
Uh-oh.
Happens all the time because you can use more weight this way and feel proud of yourself. Unfortunately, it's unlikely to get you the best tricep.
Bro, I had 10 different mistakes for a literal isolation, single fucking muscle movement on one joint. How many mistakes can you make? Let's find out. Top 10 things wrong with your tricep pushdowns. All right.
Growth. So we want you to do a full range of motion instead, which can be humbling, but is probably much more effective. Charlie, give us a demonstration of what bro science partial ROM looks like. Okay, we're gonna be doing somewhere in the mid-range there, no lockouts, not coming all the way up. It's fun, you can use a lot of weight, maybe not the best idea. And then show us what full range looks like. Gonna coming all the way up and all the way down for a lockout, actually using the tricep through a full range of motion. We're not gonna be Hercules lifting all the weights, but we're gonna be getting more hypertrophy. Next mistake is thinking there's one exact correct way to do pushdowns where there are actually three. And you could use any one of the three sort of in a phasic manner where you use one of them for a couple of mesocycles, then it gets a little stale on you, use another one, and so on and so forth. Let's take a look at the three. No right answers here, it's just three different options. And a lot of times it comes down to which one you feel the most and is easiest on your joints. So Charlie, show us the first variant. It's when we allow our elbows to track forward and we come up a little bit higher. So you notice the elbows come forward in this. And people say this is wrong, but they would be wrong themselves because now we're actually using a little bit of long head and we're getting a really, really great stretch through the bottom part of the tricep. Awesome. Another way to do the tricep extension is to keep the elbows completely locked and only move the forearms. Totally fine. Great. Allows us to be super strict. No problem. Sometimes people experience some elbow discomfort doing this. So what they can do is actually allow their elbow to track back on the way up. And now it's more of a push down rather than the other two, which is more of a tricep extension. You can use any one of these so long as when you begin your set, you know which one you're using so you can count reps appropriately. All of them are fine. They're essentially three versions of an exercise, similar to like a wider stance squat, a medium stance squat, and an air stance squat. There's no correct answer of which one hits your quads. All of them hit your quads. Pick the one which feels best for your quads and the best for your knees and hips. That's the one that's right for you and feel free to use the others when the time comes up. Same thing with the tricep extension. You can move your elbows forward, just know that you're doing it. You can keep your elbows locked, know that you're doing it, and you can move your elbows back. All of them are 100% fine. Next mistake is not having a standard range of motion for every single repetition. You have to be able to ensure a standard range of motion so you can count to make sure you're doing the same amount of stimulus every time and being able to expand it and also to track performance. If your reps look different every week, how do you know your performance went up? Maybe you just cut your range this week. Who knows, right? So every rep should look pretty much the same. Pick a technique and stick to it and go through the full range of motion. So the bad way of doing this, Charlie, bro it out. You know, we do this and sometimes we do some short reps and sometimes the elbows come back and sometimes we do that when we feel like it. I've literally seen people do all of these in one set. Who knows what they're doing? The right way to do it is to pick technique. Which one you want, Charlie? Okay, we're letting the elbows come forward. Awesome.
Good job,
Notice they're coming forward the same way every single time. He's going all.
Does he feel a little uncomfortable calling this guy Charlie? Is that a little weird? I feel like his parents named him that to fuck with white people. Do you think?
All the way to full lockout every single time and all the way back up until his biceps touch his forearms. That's it. Super common mistake on pretty much every hypertrophy exercise, not controlling the eccentric. The good thing about not controlling the eccentric or the descent is that you get to feel better about yourself because you get to do more reps and use more weight. The bad thing is it causes less muscle growth. So when we're on the tricep extension, we're gonna make sure to milk out the eccentric. That doesn't mean you have to do it for 5 seconds, though that is a viable option, but at least, 1 or 2 seconds actively controlling movement. Charlie, mess this up for us and show us how to do it bro style with no control. Boom.
Koreans adopt their own Western name. No, it's not a Western name. I'm pretty sure Charlie is like, isn't Charlie like a quasi-racial slur for Vietnamese people? Wait, am I the only one that knows this or am I making this up? It is it? Wait, like when there's like enemy Vietnamese, you're like, it's Charlie, there's Charlie everywhere. Am I making this up? Yes, Destiny, you're right. I am right. Thank you. Fuck you guys. Charlie just means enemy? Okay, well, I feel like I've heard it apply to Vietnamese people. I feel like I've heard that before, okay? Or maybe that was just my grandpa.
And boom, we're not trying to do the eccentric. That shit is hard. What about doing it correctly? Comes down and we control. And comes down and we control. Charlie, show us a slow version of the eccentric. So this would be something like a 3 or 4 second eccentric. It's just another way of doing things. Control is the most important part. How fast you go, very secondary. Next mistake is confusion about the lockout. Should you be locking out your elbows or not? Some folks will say the lockout is a big part of what the tricep does and you want that peak tension and squeeze. Some folks will say that removes the constant tension element and it doesn't let metabolites sum up as much. Both folks have their point. The thing is, it's just 2 correct ways of doing an exercise. Know which one you're doing and only do that for a time, especially in one session. So if you choose to lock out the elbows, make sure that you really milk and lock out for a split second at the bottom. Charlie, show us how that works. So he's going to lock it out, squeeze, and then come back up. He's going to lock it out, squeeze, and come back up. And then the other version is going almost to lockout, still full range of motion, but not quite locked out, keeping the tension on the muscles the entire time. Both are totally cool. We can actually mix these 2 methods together by doing a few reps without a lockout. And then when our triceps get really tired, we can lock it out, rest for a second, and then get back to work. So he's going to lock it out and rest, and then he's going to go again and do almost locked out reps until that happens again. Just know how many intervals you're doing so you can plan ahead for next week. Next mistake, very common, is to flare the elbows. By flaring out your elbows, you get to use your lats actually and your chest to help you press the weight down. That's so sweet because you get to use more weight, but unfortunately triceps actually get less of a stimulus and the fatigue to the other muscle groups in the rest of your body goes up for no reason. So Charlie, bro it out for us. Do some tricep presses. Yeah, sweet. That's like a weird decline bench press. Now, you'll see some very high-level pros doing this. The reason they do it is because their lats and triceps are so big, they can't actually get their elbows any closer. What we want you to do is not be completely in line, because that may not be
I
possible.
hate that problem. I have that problem sometimes with benching because my lats basically flare out so much. It kind of like pushes my elbows in these weird positions, you know? When you're a machine, sometimes your range of motion gets fucked on some of these accessory lifts, you know? It just happens.
For you if you're actually jacked, just get your elbows as close to your sides as you can and don't willfully press the bar down. Extend the bar down using your triceps. Charlie, show us what that looks like. So we're actually going to keep our elbows as close together as we can.
Yeah, you know when you're trying to do overhead press, but you can't do it after a bicep exercise because your biceps are so fucking pumped that like your starting position is like here because you can't make your arms go down anymore because your biceps is like, ugh. You know, you're just fucking, what are you going to do,
proper
man?
extensions. Very good. What about where to put your shoulders? Okay, a lot of folks say there's this completely proper place to do it. It turns out there are a couple correct answers, pretty much only one correct answer for super, super strong people, but we'll get to that in a second. So fundamentally, there's sort of 4 poles in this. One is doing tricep extensions with your shoulders protracted. So Charlie's gonna put his shoulders forward completely, yep, and then he's gonna do tricep extensions like that. Totally fine way to do them. The opposite is retracting the shoulders. So he's gonna retract his shoulders and do tricep extensions. Totally fine way to do them. He can also elevate his shoulders. So he's basically shrugging up, and he's gonna do his extensions that way. And also he can depress his shoulders if he wants and do his tricep extensions that way. Everything's super cool. Here's the deal. When you get super strong, the position that you get put into, just by default, because it's really heavy weight, is going to be a retracted position that is elevated. Almost everyone strong does their tricep extensions from this position because they would have to, good enough, Charlie, they would have to fight the weight down to depress it and actually protract the scapula. That would require extra effort from muscles that are not the triceps and are not the target and take the brain away from focusing on getting the best tricep workout. So fundamentally, the answer is wherever you feel comfortable and you can really focus on your triceps, don't you worry about what your shoulders and scapulas are doing. Now, on the other hand, if you really feel the triceps more when you protract and you have no problem depressing and still focusing on the tricep, go to town. But as you get stronger, you may find that this position defaults to being the one that feels best. Next mistake is standing too far away from the machine or too close to the machine. If you stand too far away from the machine, you can start to feel it less in your triceps and more in your lats as the machine pulls you away and you actually get a lot of lat activation and rear delt stuff, and it turns out that that might not be the greatest thing for you to focus on your triceps. Another problem is if you stand really close to the machine, you might just be super awkward and you might be sort of scratching your face with the machine. It doesn't work super.
Okay, I think we're good. This is how you work out, by the way. Why do you, how many times do you link this?
Oh. Whoa. Oh.
Okay. August, without the context of D watching the Thorpe documentary, the interview might come off as super weird and invasive. Wait, did he upload that to the main channel? No shot did he do that. Oh. That would be wild. Oh, I think I've literally watched these on stream before. This guy does a whole video series like this.
It's a deadlift. Deadlift. Yes. Can I clean here? Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm terrible sorry. Whew. Yes. Do you have 2 minutes? Yeah. I'm sure. Just.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Okay. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of it, never heading south. I'll be sweating now, call it word of mouth, can't put it down, I'll be getting loud, you can never doubt, know what I'm about,
yes.
have your cloud, it be raining.
I like deadlift. Deadlift my favorite. Okay. I think here or here? Here, yeah? Just, okay. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
You know what's fake, right? You know what's really fake is the huge load that I put in your fucking mom's ass yesterday. It was mayonnaise. On bamboo bar. What does that even mean? Is the bar made of bamboo? Milk, milk. He's training his synergists. Did you watch the Israel and Seedman debate? I did not. One of the craziest things about these machines is if you actually work out the math, if you weigh lighter than the weight that you're able to lift here, but you're able to lift all the weight, you can actually take off with the machine. Like you can fly a little bit. Like you probably couldn't reasonably go more than like 1 or 2 stories high, but you could definitely get some air.